Alright, it is 9:42 a.m. I have one trade with DPLS, and I just didn't really like the price action here. It did get above this 14 resistance level, but just briefly, and it didn't get to VWAP, which is 146. Maybe this thing is going to drop and ideally make a higher low off of this level, the low and the bottom of the morning panic setup right here, and then maybe it gets to VWAP, but I just don't like it. I did try it, and it really looks like one of the type of morning panic bounce plays that don't work out and eventually sell off and break the day low and downtrend even more. But I did take it. There were a few other ones. I thought DPLS was the best one. I did buy it at 936, 15,000 shares right here when it was looking like it was trying to turn around at 135. And then I was in it and everything. And it's not really easy to show it, but this candle did not look very nice. Where it opened, it kind of made it look kind of weak, and I did sell at 938 10,000 of the 15,000 shares because it just wasn't looking strong. It was looking like there were issues with it, and that was at 136 10,000 shares. So right here, right at the bottom right here is when I did sell some, and then I held on to 5,000. I wanted to be more patient with it, but again, the price action was looking bad, and I decided to be more patient with it. But when it had this little wick right here, which I don't mind too much, breaking the trend line that I had, which is pretty close to the day low and everything, I did cut the trade, and I sold the last 5,000 shares. I think it was um, either 137, like it says here, and 136 and a half at 939. So that was a sell right here at 137 in theory, and it's still trying to uptrend. There was a point where maybe I could have sold at the bid at 14, but it's just not really that strong. It's not offering a big bounce. Again, it can try to do it perhaps later, but it didn't do it when I was in the setup. Maybe I could have just held on to the day low as a risk level, and I could have maybe sold more profitably, perhaps. If it just seems like that's the case more often than not with morning panic bounce setups, so just be patient and hold on to the risk low, which is the day low. I might just do that. Otherwise, I'll make an update later. The price action isn't looking that bad if we could break above 14 quickly. Nothing interesting here, nothing interesting here, and there were a few other ones. I think this one had a morning panic bounce setup. Yeah, I just didn't like how, it hit the bottom and everything, and then it turned around with just one big green candle, so that wasn't really something to, trade very easily. So that was the case with that, and yeah, I'll make an update later. I'll be looking for more setups. Alright, it is 10:08, and I am actually considering a swing trade setup, at least something that maybe I could hold for a longer period of time. Maybe this setup won't work out, but this is looking like a nice and juicy bull flag with LKNCY. It even looks like one here, a little stretched out, but it could be very nice for a bull flag setup. And I think I am going to consider a $10 risk level, which is super tiny because I don't necessarily trade stocks for a multiple period of days very often, but I will be cutting the trade if maybe it breaks below this trend line, and then worst case I'm out maybe in the 2230s. We are breaking this uptrending trend line right here. I want to see if it can downtrend and then be some kind of inverse head and shoulders, a shoulder of the head, and then maybe a shoulder I could buy into, but I'll keep looking. That's just me trying to be cheap, honestly, and yeah, perhaps the setup could work out. There isn't anything else interesting. DPLS to do like a lower low, but as you can tell, there was no decent price action for a trade. Nothing with these other ones. And yeah, I'll make an update later. This one did break the top of the wick here, which was 1009, but this is some ugly price action, widespread stuff. So I'll make an update later. I am looking at LKNCY for maybe a swing trade setup. Okay, so this is when normally I stop recording, I start looking at the stocks, or maybe I'll start doing some other work, but I accidentally still left the recording, and I decided to just keep this and just go over what I was doing at this point, which is placing an order with LKNCY and also having that in mind. It looks like that inverse head and shoulder setup that I was talking about, And as you can see here, I have scans, and what I was essentially doing is having a trigger alert so that if the stock fails and it looks like it's breaking the day low, I'll be able to cut the setup because an alert went off. You're not able to have stop losses on Fidelity with OTC, so that's what I was doing. And then I do start to do other things, so I will just cut off the video and then go to another point when I went back to looking at the stocks, and that's when I saw that LKNCY was really up, and I did sell just 5 shares, a fifth in the uptrend, and then I sold the rest. And yeah, this thing just really worked out. I'm gonna end it right here and then go to when I started the record right after I exited the position. Okay, I just noticed I was actually still recording for I don't know how long, so I might even leave the price action there. Although I was looking at other things, but this thing just shot off. It just shot up. I mean, yeah, I guess the setup really worked, but no, I wanted it to be something that could uptrend over a longer period of time, and I don't see anything like this in this chart where it just shoots up like the way it is. It's actually now in the 40s. There was an uptrend here, but not as big as this one, and then this one was in the morning spike, so this doesn't really count. It just shot up. We do have resistance at 2340, 45-ish. Also the day high, which is 2350. It almost looks like a short seller just got liquidated and he's just cutting his trade. I actually don't know if I should feel bad or not for selling because I wanted it to just gradually work out over a longer period of time over the next few days, but when it just shoots up like this, I get worried that it's also going to, one way or another, just shoot towards the bottom as well and really sell off. But that's not happening. This is some really, really positive price action. And we are at the day high. Let's see if it breaks it. Yeah, it breaks it too. Yeah, this looks a lot like a short seller who just got liquidated and they're just hitting the ask to get out of their position. It really looks like that. And it's not something that it does normally, I think. The only thing that looks similar to this was right here, which was a morning spike gap up, so that makes sense. All right, well, anyway, I sold 5 shares, just 5 shares, a fifth of my position at 1021 when it had the first spike and everything right here. I sold some at 22.99, and then when it just started to shoot up in the air, I did sell the rest at 23.19 right here. Okay, now we have the first red candle. Is it going to actually close as a red candle? Nope. And yeah, my last sell was at 23.19, so again right here. Obviously could have sold for more. The top of the trend line is going to be resistance for sure at this 23.75 level if it gets there. Wow, this thing is super strong. I guess we'll draw a little trend line to see how high could this thing continue to go. Maybe one here, or perhaps, no, this one is already broken. Let's do one off of the corner of this candle. So this thing is just really going up. Let's see if it gets to 23.75, although we're starting to see some bigger sells at the bid. We're at the very top of the trend line, I think. Let's see if it breaks the trend line. That would be really impressive. I mean, it's already impressive the way it is. Yeah, it looks like we're breaking above that too. I wonder if it will continue to stay above the trend line. I guess hindsight 2020, if I'm in a setup that I want to hold for a long period of time and it just shoots up like the way it is, just straight up, I can have some kind of a trend line, sell a portion and then have a trend line for the other portion because at that point If it just shoots up the way it is, I kind of don't want to hold on to it for a long period of time. Maybe have a more aggressive trend line like this. All right, based off of the wick on this candle, or now that, it's been a few minutes, the corner here, and then sell once it breaks it. So in this case, if it gets below this 2370 level, that'd be a sell of the rest of the shares. Otherwise, it'd just be a situation where you just hold on to it. So yeah, this one is really working. I wish I sold my last piece for more, obviously, but I wasn't expecting this. I've never really experienced something like this, in the setup that I'm in. Wow. All right, well, I'll make an update later. I don't think I'm gonna trade anything else today. I might just actually start working on other things. I'm not sure how much I'm up. I'm not up very much, maybe like $10, but the potential was there. And for a moment, I was even considering trading LKNCY with 100 shares, which would have been massively profitable. But I wanted to have a $10 risk level for swing trade setups because I don't necessarily have that much experience trading them. This one really worked out. I'm glad I traded it at least. I'll make an update later. Alright, it is 8:41 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on the day, 13 bucks 65 cents. Two trades, DPLS and LKNCY. DPLS did not really work out. This was my trade right here, and yeah, I just didn't like the way it was trading. It gave me too many vibes of a lot of morning panic bounce by setups that don't work out, or at least make a move towards the day low. And this was an example of one that just barely got to a level under VWAP, and then it sold off. And then the second one wasn't really nice. The volume wasn't there. It sold off some more. There's no setup here for a long setup at least that would really work out. A great short setup, but I'm not a short seller. And nothing with CGRA, nothing with GTII, although I mean, it is looking like it's trying to turn around. Maybe it can try to have a second run up. It doesn't have to. That's really up to the people behind the stock. But maybe if it does try to break above, what would it be? Definitely 90 cents. It could be a sign that maybe they're going to do a second run up, but that's, guessing. LKNCY really worked out, and I was actually thinking of trading this again as a bull flag setup. So something where, I traded this initial one, it really worked out. And then this one I thought could have been another bull flag. Something where you can draw like a trend line right here. But then I just thought, I think there's only uptrend of the way it did because it just seems like some short seller got liquidated, and that's why it ran up. So when it kind of started the downtrend, I wasn't too interested in it. But I was thinking that in the back of my mind, at the back of my mind, wow, that it could have been a potential bull flag setup. And I guess I did uptrend some more, so it wasn't horrible. I did uptrend, just not as nicely as that first one right there. That I could have been way more profitable. Again, my best sell was right here. Now that the chart is finished for today, and yeah, definitely good lesson to use trend lines if a setup starts to really work. Even if it's a swing trade, at least, what was my plan with that one to be a swing trade. Nothing with this one. It's up on a day, but nothing really cool on the chart. This one has less volume. I might remove this one. Actually, it doesn't really look that nice now that I'm looking at it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like I deleted an extra stock right there, but yeah, great lesson with LKNCY. Really worked out. Could have traded a lot more, but yeah, that's good. There's always room for improvement. That's it for today.